I married my favorite girl Isabella at the age of 20. She was my age, and the coming family life seemed clear and cloudless to me. Our love affair developed, observing all the canons of the genre. We met at a friend's birthday party, met for almost a year, and then got married. She was the first woman I fell in love with. When my parents expressed doubts about my impending marriage, I said I would pack my bags and just go to her. So we got married. A year later a son was born, and 3 years later a daughter. I really loved Isabella very much. Over the years, the feeling grew stronger and stronger. I had no reason to suspect her of infidelity, for she never gave any reason. I trusted her completely without humiliating her with jealousy. Like everyone else, we sometimes quarreled, but the quarrels did not turn into scolding. We very quickly found a common language and made peace. We lived for 17 years. And then everything changed. Isabella suddenly became irritable, began to start scandals on an empty place. She drastically changed her image. She changed her coloring to brunette. She had new clothes and perfumes. Her wife began to stay late at work regularly, with spurious reasons. Our intimate life was on the wane. Such changes in family life could not just happen. I began to reflect and came to the conclusion that it all started after the reunion. So something happened at that reunion that changed my wife. I knew a few of her classmates and decided to cautiously ask them about that meeting. From them, I learned a lot of interesting things about my wife. It turns out that in 10th grade, Isabella was in love with a classmate, James. He was quite a handsome boy and was very popular with his classmates. After high school, life divorced them. He went to another city to study, there married the daughter of the director of the factory, he had a child. Isabella grieved, and then she married me. So they existed in parallel in different cities, until James was transferred to our city, and they crossed paths at a meeting of classmates. They met, and old love was rekindled. It's a pretty common situation that happens all the time. And so it went. They slept together the same night. And they couldn't stop. Isabella looked for any reason to be with her lover. She made up reasons that any secret agent would envy. I already knew the name and address of Isabella's lover. The only thing left to do was to catch the lovers in the act and close the story. I must say I felt very bad. My love for Isabella had become mixed with a certain sense of squeamishness. Knowing that my wife went to bed with another did not leave me any prospects for further life with her. But still, before making a final decision about the fate of our family, I decided to talk to my wife first. I directly asked her about the lover. In response, she threw me a grandiose scandal with hysterics, accusing me of all the sins and most importantly in her broken life. She called me a scumbag, saying that not only did I ruin her life, but also dared to question her honesty. I waited a couple more days, and one evening, when my beloved was once again delayed at work, came to the address where her James lived. He opened the door and nodded toward the kitchen when I asked him where she was. Isabella was sitting with one leg tucked up on a stool, smoking. When she saw me, she flinched and said angrily, "Why did you come here? I love him." Just like that, no preamble. Basically, it was all clear to me. But I made one last attempt and tried to remind her about the kids. But she said the kids would stay with her and her new lover. I no longer had the energy and desire to continue the conversation. I told my wife that I would not talk about it anymore, that our conversation was the last, and that I would file for divorce myself. Isabella turned away to the window, letting me know that the conversation was over. I silently left the apartment. When I got home, I explained to my children that my mother had gone on a long business trip. I did not dare to tell my children the truth, although I realized that at some point it would have to be done. But my son asked me, "Mom went to another family?" I nodded. He hugged me, and we sat like that with him half the night. The next day I filed for divorce. It took 2 months. It's not over yet. They gave us time to reconcile. The children live with me. Isabella all this time was not in a hurry to make them happy with a new daddy. One evening, my ex-wife came to see me. She announced to me that she had left her James because, in her words, she had realized that she had never loved anyone but me. I listened to her monologue in silence and explained that her ex-husband had died there that evening in her lover's apartment. I also told her that I would not prevent her from seeing her children, but that I would never live with her.